What is up guys, Andy Forestine Runner here, back with another video for you today, and today I want to welcome you back to the Marathon Workout Focus series. This series is where we are breaking down some of the workouts that I am doing in my marathon training, talking to you a little bit about them, showing you some of the footage and how I got on during my session, and then on the back end of that talking about the benefits that I find of doing this type of session during marathon training, and obviously how it can help you guys as well. Before we jump into today's video, I want to say a massive thank you to each and every one of you who are commenting, liking and sharing the videos at the moment. The support on this particular series has been phenomenal, especially last week's video. I really do appreciate it, so thank you. And yeah, we'll jump into today. So today, as I said, the topic is intervals, a fantastic and versatile session that most of us do use in our marathon plans. I will talk a little bit more about that at the back end. Let me talk to you first, of course, about how we got on this week with our intervals. I have some footage for you shortly, and this week we had 6 by 4 minutes on with 3 minutes jog recovery, nice and easy. And this week I was really hoping, after the 2 weeks we've had of illness, to kind of get back to some kind of firing on all cylinders form. You know, it's been a tough couple of weeks, I'm not gonna lie. Frustrating more than anything, especially last week. The mileage, we got the mileage up there, couldn't quite do some of the sessions as we wanted, just because I didn't quite have the energy, especially the long run. That was frustrating for me. However, we were back this week, and I just felt, even though my Monday easy run this week wasn't quite great, I felt a little bit more alive and kicking, and I pinned a lot of hope on yesterday's run, and lo and behold, it didn't disappoint. I was really pleased. So before I say any more, let's jump into yesterday's footage. We'll go through that session and then I'll catch up with you at the end. And we are back out on the trails today for another workout, and today, as I've alluded to, we are doing intervals. It's a nice day. Can you believe the last video saw was snow? It's all gone. Didn't last long. The rain washed it away a couple of days ago. Today's Tuesday. We are out doing our session, 6 by 4 minute intervals and 3 minutes jog recovery in between. We're out in the afternoon today. Historically, I don't particularly do very well in the afternoon. I think normally because I either underfeed myself or overfeed myself. I'm more of a morning and evening runner. But we'll turn here. Today is going to be, see how we go. Feeling a lot better today, almost like back to normal. So as I'm doing this on the trails, I'm doing it on my normal mile repeats section, and as I've alluded to before, the mile repeats has this little hill behind me. I don't know if you can see, you won't be able to see. It's a bit of a kick up at the end. Well, I get to miss that out, so this is going to be as flat as it can get on a trail, and we're going to see what happens today. I'd love to get back below 6 minute mark pace. I feel good, but we'll see what happens. So today, join me. I will touch base between every interval, let you know how we're going, and let's go for it. Okay, rep 1 done. We are back in the game. Feeling good, feeling strong. I craved feeling like this last week, and I think we're back there. Nearly. Don't want to speak too soon. Anyway, rep 1 done. Felt good. There we go, rep 2 done. Third of the way through. Worked hard, felt good. I've longed for this feeling again, hitting the paces I know I can hit, and yeah, working hard too. Heart rate seems to be in the right zone. Let's hope it continues to stay like this for the rest of the workout. I believe, again, another sub 6. Results will be on screen at the end. Anyway, where the snow's melted, the top of this track is a little bit soft, so grip isn't great, but feeling good nonetheless. On we go. Okay, halfway. Stomach's starting to play up, as it always does on an afternoon run, so we've got to hope we don't get any sudden urges to go to the toilet. But I feel flipping fantastic, to the point where I'm recovering in between sets. My heart rate's getting back down below 140, yet in my interval I'm up over 170, which is fantastic. So my body is recovering well between each set. So delighted with how this is going. Even if the session ended right now or on the next one, this is the best quality session I've done in over 2 weeks. There we go. Fourth one done. 2/3 of the way through. Suffering highly, but a good suffering, you know, like that. Oh, come on, we're back kind of suffering. 2 to go. The gut's held strong on that one. Let's hope we can hold strong on 2 more. I'm excited to see the results when I get home. I think it's gonna be a good one. Number 5 done. Guts have held out, and I feel on top of the world. Suffering, yes, but doing good. If only every workout was like this. I've missed this feeling over the last couple of weeks when I've been ill. Missed being able to open up the legs. Could be something to do with the new shoes. Who knows? More coming soon later this week on that. However, that's 5 done, 1 to go, and then I'll put the results on screen. Yes, 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 yes. 6 done. 6 by 4 minutes done. That felt amazing. Results on screen. I have no idea what they are. I will find out when I get home. As a lot of you know, I set my watch up with intervals, so I can't see what my paces are in each one. I can just try and mathematically work it out in my head based on distance, and I'm not good at maths, so I have no idea. So there we go, back to the office. Let's talk about the versatility and the great use you can put intervals to in your marathon training. Wow, so there we go guys, exactly what I'd hoped for. 5 out of the 6 of them were sub 6 minute miling, and I'm really delighted because it just felt, it's felt like such a long time coming for me to get back to this place where I've been clocking off times that I know I can achieve. And there's, as I alluded to before, you saw that footage, the illness has been frustrating, but we are back and firing on all cylinders, hopefully. I'm even more delighted because A, that was on trails, and B, the surface of the cycle track was cutting up a bit. The snow that we'd had melted, and there were parts on there that were very boggy and very, you know, traction was difficult. It was hard to get a quicker leg turnover. Feet kept slipping here and there a little bit, but you know, I just felt strong from rep 1 to rep 6, and that is all I've asked for. You know, none of this fading throughout the session, none of this going off too hard, going off too slow. It was just bang on from start to finish, and that was fantastic. So what I want to talk to you about now, guys, is the versatility of intervals and how you guys can incorporate them, and what I particularly love about intervals. So let's dive in. Okay, so as I keep alluding to, the first thing I love about intervals is their versatility. The fact that you can do intervals that are maybe 2 minutes on and 2 minutes off, or 2 minutes on and 1 minute off in the beginning of your plan, and then really stretch those up to 4, 5 and even 6 minute intervals later on down the line. They're so versatile in terms of being able to use them at the beginning, the middle and the end of your plan, and all you have to do is adapt to the rest periods and the duration of the interval. So for example, if you wanted a session that's going to keep your heart rate quite elevated, keep you working quite hard, then maybe you would want to look at reducing that rest period. So you would do, as I said, maybe 2 minutes on and 1 minute off, giving yourself half recovery. That won't let your heart rate get too low down. Whereas you might do something more like what we did yesterday, which was 4 minutes on and 3 minutes off. The 3 minutes giving me a chance to get my breath back, get my heart rate low and settled again, ready to kick on again, getting my body used to just keep firing and then chilling out, and then having to go again and chilling out. So there are such different ways that you can utilize them, and as I said, use the beginning and the end of the plan. They're absolutely fantastic. Okay guys, and the second thing that I love about intervals, and pretty much exactly the same thing as I alluded to not last week, 2 weeks ago in my fartlek video, is they're a fantastic session to come back on. Now, I do my fartleks quite structured, very similar to an interval, but I might sort of play around with the distance a little bit more. Or if I'm on the trails and I decide to run the hills, you know, push hard on the hills and chill out on the downhills, that's more of a fartlek session. But with regards to intervals, you know, what a great way to come back from time off, when you've come back and you've got a couple of weeks easy running under your belt and you think, right, I'm ready for my first session now, you know, 1 minute on, 30 seconds off, 1 minute on, 1 minute off, whatever, just alternating it. Just intervals are always the first thing I reach for. Intervals and fartleks are always the first thing I reach for. I'm thinking to myself, right, what's the weather like? Can I go out on the trails? Then I might do a fartlek and, as I said, run the hills and just push a little bit. Or no, is the weather not so great? Hit the roads and just do some timed intervals. Now, The reason I love that is because I feel like I'm getting a proper session done. I'm using the structure of the intervals. I'm just literally shrinking, whereas I'm doing 4 by 3 minutes now, and let's say that interval's like this, I'm just taking it right down, getting some structure in there, maybe doing 10 by 1 minute on, 1 minute off, 10 minutes worth of hard work, nothing more, just a really, really chilled out session to come back on, not pushing too hard. And again, that's another way that I like to look at these things, is it depends on the intensity that you want to run the intervals as to how much you want to get out of the session. So I can just come back and go, right, do you know what, 1 minute on, 1 minute off, half marathon pace, job done. And that is a fantastic way to, as I said, what I like to do to come back from maybe a big block of training from a week off and get straight back into it. So that, guys, is number 2. All right, guys, and the third thing that I love about intervals is the fact that you can use them to work on your speed or your speed endurance. Take mile repeats, for example. That is a real speed endurance workout. You can't really use those for your sort of top end speed, because you can't really run for your top end speed for mile repeats. It's just way too tough. Similarly, if you were doing 200 meter repeats around a track, that is your top end speed that you're working on, no endurance. You've got two opposite ends of the spectrum there, yeah? So if you take what I'm doing now, for example, with my 4 minutes on and 3 minutes off intervals, I'm working a little bit more on the speed endurance due to the duration of them, but a perfect prime example of speed endurance using intervals was when I was doing my 400 meter repeats last year for my 10k training series, and I was running them at 10k pace. So intervals don't have to be run at a specific pace. They can be, and are mostly used for your top end VO2 max stuff, but you can scale it back. And the reason that they were so good last year with my 400 meter repeats is because we shortened the rest. So we weren't allowing my heart rate to come down and rest too much, what I alluded to earlier, and then we had to go again quickly, but obviously not going top speed. But by the time I'd done 400 meters at 10k pace with a very short, about 30-second recovery, I was absolutely crucified. I felt crippled, but it was a great session, and that epitomizes working on speed endurance. So you can see the versatility there. We've got two different types of sessions going on. You can dial back the pace but reduce the rest and really use it as a great endurance session, or you can just go all out, have a longer rest and really work on that top end speed. And that, guys, is the beauty of intervals. Depending on where you are in your plan, where you're heading to and what you're looking to achieve, depends on what type of intervals you can do, and is definitely something that you can incorporate into your marathon training. So there we go, guys, that is it from me today. I hope you enjoyed this video. I really do appreciate, as I said before, all of your support, and I hope you guys are using intervals in your marathon training. Let me know if you are. I'd be keen to hear what your sessions are like. So there we go. If you enjoyed this video, guys, please do consider giving it a like, share it with your friends, and of course do subscribe to the channel for weekly running content, and I will see you next time. Until then.